Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and in fact today's one is a holiday special. Yes, it might actually surprise you to learn that I haven't been abroad since just after I left school. That's around 20 years. Don't get me wrong, in that time I've had loads of great holidays here in the UK, a beautiful walking tour in the Lake District, and travels to Cornwall for my 30th, where it was an exotic garden visit every single day. Those are certainly highlights that come to mind. But in that time I haven't actually gone abroad. Last year, my wife and Harriet, they went away with her family for about a week. They went to Milan, while I actually got on here in my garden, made the progress on the fire pit, and it's amazing how much you can do when you just left to it. But this year, as another holiday got booked, I thought, now's the time. Harriet's older, the perfect time to enjoy a holiday. And where did Alice book? Well, it's Portugal.
Mommy!
You're going to Portugal.
I'm to Portugal.
Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really one for extreme heat, despite my love of tropical plants and the whole exotic gardening style. So it's a good job we went to the Algarve right on the south coast of Portugal at the end of April, which is right at the start of the season there. And a plus side that is that it wasn't actually too busy either. We had a lot of places pretty much to ourselves, which was fantastic. But I know what you're thinking, George, you're a humble guy. You're always talking about the real basics of gardening, how to reuse things in your garden, how to propagate, how to divide, how to grow plants on a budget. What kind of humble residences did you stay in through your short stay? Did you really explore the real Portugal? Did you go on a full adventure around so many botanic gardens and real natural habitats? Well, I did use the word adventure in the title of this video, but I'll be honest with you, that's mainly because I'm a fan of alliteration, because we actually stayed here. Okay, so maybe not the humble residency you expect. Yes, we stayed at the Conrad Algarve, and I've got to say, my wife actually got it at a phenomenal price. She works as part of a global hotel, so occasionally she sees these things, and this time round, it was that cheap, we absolutely had to go for it. Well, actually, I think on balance, it was probably cheaper than Centre Parks here in the UK. Although that's probably not the best example because there'll soon be places you can stay on the moon, which will be cheaper than Centre Parks. But you know what I mean? It was a really great deal on the holiday and we had a fantastic time. The luxury, the hospitality, may be uncomfortable at first, but you certainly get used to it very, very quickly. Sit back then, relax. I really hope you enjoy this video. In the first half, I'm taking a gentle, peaceful, early morning stroll through the gardens of the Conrad Algarve, looking at some of the beautiful landscaping, the exquisite exotics, truly made it a special place for me to stay in particular, and I hope you enjoy seeing around too. And then the second half, that luxury theme is continuing because I'm taking a walk into the local golf resort. I don't know what you're thinking, that sounds incredibly boring. It might be for some people, but for you real exotic plants fans, well, just get ready for this. Some of the gardens, the houses and the plants are completely next level. I'm talking real tropical plants. My dream palm, there's a couple of those there. Some truly stunning gardens, which I know you'll enjoy seeing. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's get on with it. So you're joining me then, just before 7 o'clock. The sun has just come up above the horizon. There isn't a single sunbather reserved for anyone, and breakfast isn't even open yet. But it's time for a nice early morning stroll. And already, looking over the infinity pool, you can see the reflections of these absolutely majestic Washingtonia. Aren't they just iconic? So beautiful. But let's have a little walk around the pool and see some more, even more incredible plants around this beautiful destination. You might notice I'm talking a little bit more quietly than usual. Very aware that lots of people have paid a lot of money to sleep in here, and I don't want to be the one that probably gets kicked out disturbing it. Just look at these. You don't get this in the UK, do you? I know we've got our Trachycarpus, but they're not quite in the same level as these, are they? Literally, these absolutely tower over the hotel. Truly beautiful things. As we head down the main steps here, I'll show you around the corner another large group of plants which really caught my eye. And in fact, you can see them peeking over the top. Some huge strelitzias. I love all this old beautiful stone. Probably some ideas for my little fire pit area, maybe, if I somehow win the lottery. Just look at this. The irrigation's just started now. Definitely detected me walking past, and now it's become some kind of game show to get you around the garden. But you can tell here a lot of the plants do rely on irrigation. Not only are there the sprayers, the soakers in the lawn themselves, but there's also this hose network which runs around the whole garden. Here in the Algarve, rain is, well, it's very rare during the summer months. We're here now in late April, and these are really the last months where they get any kind of significant rainfall. As we head into summer, there's pretty much nothing. So really, a lot of these resorts, destinations, locations are only kept green because of the watering. Here, it's not about keeping tropical style or exotic plants alive as such during freezes. It's about keeping them alive during the summer months. And most of the work here is on maintenance and watering. But isn't it worth it when you see beauties like this? This strelitzia here, I believe this one's Reginae. Just look at it, aren't they truly beautiful? Absolute wonders of nature. And behind it, look at these. I believe these are Strelitzia Nicolai, but just look at the size of them. Apparently they can get to 7 or 8 meters tall, which is probably not far from what these ones are here. 3.5 meters wide. They truly are the size of palms, aren't they? Absolutely stunning things, rising up pretty much a cross between a palm, a banana, and just really an unruly houseplant for us here in the UK. What a sight. But as we head round a bit further, the scent of this hedge here, is it Choicea the hedge? Beautiful white blooms there. It's just starting to flow through. What a beautiful, tranquil morning. In fact, every morning this week has been beautiful and tranquil. We've been so lucky to have had a beautiful week. The temperatures here this week, daytime around 23, 24 degrees every single day. Nighttime only dropping to 13, 14, which is definitely a far cry from our cold, grey, chilly, bleak week we got back at home. But I know spring's on the way. Coming to a place like this though, it feels like you're cheating a little bit, skipping ahead ever so slightly and heading towards summer. Here, the summer months, it's pretty much like our heat waves all the time. Temperatures over 30 degrees, very, very regular. Pushing 40, again, happens far too often. But the planting here, it really is stunning. I've got to say, going around to the various day trips I've been on, the pines are predominantly the main form of trees here. Just looking out across the landscape behind, there's so many pines looking across. I love that Mediterranean look that they bring to my garden back at home. Or hopefully we'll do one day. And here it's great to see them really as a backdrop to so many beautiful exotics. And I should say, I know this whole look is definitely a very glamorized, top-end, high-end hotel look. It's certainly landscaping on a big, big scale. This isn't what a local garden would look like necessarily, but it truly is a sight to see. So many beautiful plants. In fact, should we take a little nip down here and see what's around the kiddie pool? Obviously only filming this when there's no one around. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I'll get kicked off the premises very quickly. So in terms of palms then, here we've got Phoenix Robelinii, beautiful little dwarf date palm there, which is absolutely dwarfed by this Washingtonia. When you see them up close, the sheer size of them really hits you. They are truly monumental palms. It's easy to just see them from a distance, isn't it? Like there, looking back at the hotel, and just think, oh look, there's skinny little trunks there reached up into the sky. But when you actually see them up close, and particularly before they've lost or had the leaf bases removed, they're real chunky beasts. Absolutely beautiful. For me in my garden, I know some of you can probably have a go at growing them, but they're definitely a no-go. I found this out from bitter experience. In fact, I think I lost one by overwintering inside the conservatory. There was just too much humidity. But here, with the very dry Mediterranean climate, they absolutely love it, don't they? And heading down here, you hear a bit of construction noise or farming or whatever they're doing in that field over there. But it does nothing to upset the tranquility and the beauty of this destination. So just look at this. Glorious pool, and now bathed in that beautiful early morning light. What a morning and what a place. You don't get this in Skegness, do you? Just going back to the planting as we head round here. The sun now is just popping up in the distance. We've got phormiums, all of the favourites that we can actually grow at home. Well, that's probably about the one group of plants anyway. And over here, another beautiful stand of those Phoenix Robelinii, paired with a huge towering washes. In the distance, a group of plants I might have walked past already, but I think are worth a feature. Now you tropical Schefflera nerds, you'll probably know what these are. I believe that in the distance there is Schefflera actinophylla, but this has been my first abroad holiday in quite some time. I can't say I'm intimately familiar with a lot of the real tropical plants. I tend to only go for the plants which I've got half a chance of growing at home. But just look at this, beautiful, isn't it? Towering, glorious multi-trunk specimens, and then this beautiful umbrella canopy of leaves at the top there. What a lovely plant. And they really do counter the tall palms and other lush greenery very well. Just looking around now, isn't this beautiful? Got the magnificent pines, towering palms. I've got to say, the thing that really makes it for me, that ties it all together, the beautiful rocks. There's so many tons of rocks here, leading all around, and I absolutely love them. Potentially something I'll keep in mind for a future garden idea. Just magnificent, aren't they? You can see there, berries on that Schefflera. So it's presumably happily flowering away at some point, produce these beautiful berries. More of the washes. You can see that I'm presuming a lot of them have had the leaf bases just removed off them to clean the trunks, and they trim the leaves back. I think partly for aesthetic reasons. You can see some over there with the skirt still remaining, which I generally prefer as a look. But these ones here have had a lot of the lower leaves removed to keep them looking neat and tidy, and also make them a little bit more hurricane proof. Well, not hurricane, but you know what I mean. Strong winds are one of the main growing challenges down here in the south of Portugal. You've got the intense heat, the lack of rainfall, and then also when it comes to palms, red palm weevil, which if you're not aware of it is an incredibly large problem facing palms throughout the continent, and something which I hope we don't have to, but we may have to deal with one day. Yes, unfortunately, red palm weevil has been wiping out palms on a truly catastrophic scale. One of the main palms that gets targeted by it, unfortunately, are the glorious Phoenix canariensis, particularly male specimens, which is maybe why, when you have developments like this, they don't feature them a lot. Apparently they've been wiped out a lot in parts of the country that border Spain, the red palm weevil making its effects well known. But it's glorious to see so many palms still remaining. They're just iconic. I mean, look at that there. You've got sun, you've got palms. I know we've got the same at home, but we're definitely playing at it, aren't we? And just look at the reflections. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Got to say, I'm not really one for laying around next to the pool. I know that might surprise you. I very much like exploring, adventuring. But if you are going to chill out, laze around and enjoy some sun and downtime, what a beautiful place to do it. I'm very much not used to this kind of luxury, but I can certainly understand how you can get used to it. Up here, we've got what I believe is a Queen Palm Cygrus. Is this one Romanzoffiana? I know some of you will know. A very common landscaping palm. And there's some across the road that I'll hopefully show you later, which are truly beautiful. Fruiting as well, just like that Schefflera in the distance. There's definitely a strong theme. I'm aware this is obviously commercial landscaping, of repetition, using the same, we'll say 10 plants, repeating them throughout the space, which is something that we're all really bad at in the UK, especially when it comes to tropical style gardeners. It's so easy to go out and buy 20 different plants and have one of each, when if you just focus on something just amazing. Go for 5, go for 10 different plants and repeat them through the space. I'm not saying in any way this is a practical take-home tip, but the overall effect is certainly amplified. Green grass, definitely a rarity in the countryside around as they head to the summer months of the year. But here, you can tell it obviously pays to keep the area looking lush, verdant, vibrant, and full of life. Another beautiful queen, I believe. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely lovely things, aren't they? This is the kind of look that I hope for with my Butiagris. My Butiagris erispather, which isn't looking great following a cold winter, but here obviously cold winters are just not a problem at all. So it truly is amazing, for me to see at least, someone who hasn't experienced much of these climates, just what they can get away with, what they can grow. Looking up here, we've got another Strelitzia. Just look at the size of it. Gorgeous white flowers, fantastic. So what we'll do now, we'll head up this way, and I've got some more beauties to show you around the corner. I think we might have to play a little game of walk across the lawn without either getting kicked out by security or alternatively the sprinklers coming on and absolutely drenching me. Such a stunning morning, truly is beautiful. Just head up this way. I just love all this stone architecture. I know a lot of it's new, obviously. This hasn't been around for centuries. It's a very new hotel complex. But doesn't it just look so aged, weathered, and fit in with the beautifully landscaped gardens so well? And here we are with the European fan palm. Yes, Chimerops humilis. These are everywhere. In a lot of these parts, these are actually classed as a weed, basically. Just something that grows on scrubland amongst the Ricinus, Rhododendrons, agaves even. I think they're truly stunning. And here, they'll be given a proper haircut, very neat and tidy, probably slightly over-trimmed if they were back at home. But here we're very much at the start of the holiday season. At the end of April, things are quiet, so it makes sense to give them a proper prune, and that way they're set up for a good few months of growth. But they truly look beautiful. I know in a lot of private gardens, apparently from what I've read, these were classed as a weed, so they were never really given the ornamental value they deserve. And a lot of the trees in this region, such as your olives and your cork oaks, they're obviously grown for literally the produce they create. But now, I think they're really appreciating the whole look that this area can give. Really, when tourists come out to the Mediterranean, they want to see the Mediterranean, or the idea that they've got in their head, something like that. So there's so many exotics that are used to liberally decorate the landscape. You see some of the Sigris have got yellowing fronds, so whether that's a case of them being at the back end of winter here, I say winter, the temperatures drop down to, I believe, just under around 8 degrees, which is definitely nowhere near threatening for any of these plants, but still might prohibit how much nutrients they can take up from the ground, or potentially they just need a good feed, some magnesium potentially. I know palms like a lot of trace elements to really stay green and healthy. And just look up there at those stately Washingtonia. I know for a lot of you watching this from abroad, they are as common as muck. They literally grow everywhere. But for someone who hasn't got them at home, they're just beautiful. More Chimerops. More of these fantastic stones. I just love these. I've got a project coming up, which I'll be able to share with you hopefully very soon. And I would love to have some of these just dumped into my garden, preferably so I don't have to lift them myself. That would definitely make things a lot easier. Beautiful, isn't it? I'm really getting a strong scent, a sort of onion type scent. I'm not quite sure what it comes from. Definitely not from the cycads, which again are used just everywhere. They're basically our equivalent of Photinia red robin, which every garden features a cycad. There's just so many of them everywhere. Chimerops, those beautiful cycads. What a treat. As we head past these truly fantastic pines here, the phormiums, lovely bushes down here, chimerops. There's a couple of things I want to share with you down this way. There's no fungal spotting or blemishes in these, is there? I know they've had a real haircut, but still very, very healthy. Obviously, like I mentioned, I'm filming this in April. So in a few months' time, when the temperature surges above 30 degrees every day, without any rainfall in the outside world, things will look dramatically drier and browner. Washes, chimerops, another queen. Like I mentioned, there's some beautiful ones across the road that I'll show you very soon. The irrigation in full flow down here. And look at that gorgeous winding path. One thing that I do really like here is actually the use of rosemary. Now, I've got a couple of rosemary plants close to my fire pit area, but I hadn't really considered growing them as a hedge. I just think en masse they look sensational. The beautiful scent to them. That's really given me something to think about. Great idea. So even in somewhere as high end and completely out of touch as this, there's some ideas you can take home for your garden. The first thing that I wanted to show you over here, just look at this. How beautiful does that look? Some cypresses, I believe they are, olive trees, the staggered terrace rocks there, and then the rosemary. Such a basic planting combination, but it truly does look beautiful. As Mediterranean as you like, it really brings a touch of that old, rustic, just authentic beauty, I say in definitely air quotes, to this very new and high-end hotel establishment. But I think it looks stunning. You get the impression that they don't want to go overboard with the planting here. You know, back home, I'd see all those spaces filled. But I guess over here, watering, it really is crucial. And just walking off towards the Golf District, roughly up that way there, you can see even the new plantings of rosemary have got this irrigation network laid around them. Watering really is absolutely critical here. It's what keeps the plants alive, simple as that. Some more glorious pines. And the second thing that I wanted to show you over here, this little jay in the distance, another one here. You can barely see until the camera brightens up. Jay now flying up there. Is this callistemon? Now this, the bottlebrush plant, here, it's everywhere. And I hadn't even again considered using something like this as a hedge. But over here, it doesn't just grow as a small plant. There's virtual trees of it in gardens. There's some that are even taller than that queen palm, even the height of that washi over there. One in particular I've seen had the most glorious crimson colour to it. Truly beautiful. And I guess really, even in a place like this, where quote unquote exotic plants can naturally grow, you've got your chimerops and other plants which are endemic to this region. It's still all about creating that exotic vibe, and that's something that I think we should do more of in the UK. Our coastal resorts, you might see my video down at Torquay. For me, it was the planting that really created that atmosphere. It really completed the look. It makes such a dramatic difference. And it's not always about the exact plants that you grow. It's not about creating a tropical look if you're not a tropical country, but just putting the effort in, going for something bold, beautiful and colourful. It really does make a place go from bland to completely exciting and beautiful. And as we head past these washes here, this is something I wanted to draw your attention to. Look at them once they've lost their leaves. I believe in this hotel these were all robusta. And as the irrigation stops off behind me there, look at this chunky monkey here. It's absolutely phenomenal. But the crazy thing is, all of this bulk here, as you look under, look at it. That just peels away, leaving the slender trunk in the middle. Isn't that just crazy? All that is basically just old leaf bases and then that fibrous matter. And the actual trunk itself is tiny under there, very, very slim. I just find that crazy. And I've seen it on other palms back home. I've seen some phoenix that are propped upon roots, but it just looks so unstable, doesn't it? With this really chunky beast there, and then propping it up, a tiny little skinny trunk in the middle. But they are very, very beautiful. So as we head around this winding path here, there's a couple more plants to share with you. These potentially the source of that garlic aroma, maybe not. Not quite sure what all those are, I'll be honest with you. So feel free to chime in if you've got any plant names. There's some oleander, I believe, in the middle there. Yes, these here. They look like a yucca, but they're definitely much softer. Are they a fucrea, something like that? They're trunking. Again, this is a group of plants which I don't pretend to be familiar with or knowledgeable about, because I'm very wary about what I can grow in my garden and what I certainly can't. I do try to push that a bit. But these beauties here, some of these would pair very well with some of my yuccas, the Dardyllirians near my fire pit area. Truly beautiful plants and not quite as dangerous. They're a lot more flexible than you might assume. As you can see here, they're actually grown in shade. And I think that's the other thing that I've noticed here. I guess back at home, when it comes to growing a lot of these real exotic plants, we need to give them our best spots possible. You've heard me in my videos time and time again talk about prioritizing sunny spots, raising plants up, giving them the best drainage, giving them that south-facing full sun spot, just for a chance of growth. But here, they can grow a lot of those same plants in pretty much full shade, right under these pines here. They don't see a lot of direct sun during the heat of the day. So it really is amazing. Again, it all comes down to the climate. And I know as I'm saying that, there's a lot of people thinking, you guys in the UK, you can grow such a wide range of plants. You've got such a mild, beautiful climate where groups of plants from pretty much all over the world can have a chance at thriving. Plants like roses can grow effortlessly, whereas here they need constant irrigation. We can have a grow at growing some palms. We can grow tree ferns from across the other side of the world. We can grow so many glorious trees from Asia, from America. Really, we've got so much potential, but coming to a place like this, it really opens your eyes to the amount of exotic and tropical style potential that other places have. What a view. So what a beautiful walk around this has been this morning. Hope it's not been too rambling because I've not actually had a coffee yet. I just came straight out here. You know what it's like if you go on holiday with a young child, but it really has been refreshing, invigorating to see such a beautiful place, still, stunning, and in this morning sun, what an absolute treat. The birds are coming alive now, and soon the holiday makers will be pouring back out of the hotel, desperately trying to reserve their favourite sunbeds amongst these beautiful palms. But truly, who can blame them? So thank you for watching this little segment, and we might have something else coming up next. I hope you enjoyed then that gentle stroll through the Conrad Algarve gardens, looking at some of the beautiful planting, the statuesque hard landscaping, and the truly stately palms. It really is an amazing place to stay. The second half of this video, as promised, we're going to go out to the hotel, a real adventure I know. We're going to walk through the local town square and off into the local luxury golf resort. The planting here, the gardens, they go from good to amazing to truly breathtaking. And as that wind picks up here, reminding me of my stay in Portugal, there is one thing that I'll mention. This little wind stopper here that I've got on my microphone, I took that off for my morning walk around the hotel to really be subtle, understated, to hopefully avoid having security kick me off the premises, which would have been a little bit awkward. However, I decided to leave it off again as I walked off around the golf resort. Again, the same thinking, I didn't want to get kicked out of there. But what I didn't factor in is that the wind picked up quite a bit during the day, and as we're heading out just after lunchtime, the wind was certainly up. So unfortunately, the recording had a lot of wind noise and a lot of cars just flying past me. So I've done the best I can to reduce that in post-production, but I hope you can see past that to really enjoy the stunning planting, amazing gardens, and luxury villas in this golf resort. One palm in particular, possibly the best I've ever seen. So enough rambling, let's get on with the second half, a little walk outside of the hotel. It's now early afternoon then, and we're heading out to the hotel. And just look at this fantastic avenue here. Beautiful cypresses, again, some more of those towering Washingtonias, and it's amazing how bright it is out here now. Just after lunch, like I mentioned, late April, already the light. Well, in fact, let me turn my camera to UK mode and you'll get an idea. So filming in my garden will be somewhere around there. On a sunny day, maybe somewhere around here, but this place, you need to really dial it back. The sun is absolutely intense and beautiful.
Although the temperature is around 23, 24 degrees, it looks and feels much warmer than that. Definitely Mediterranean. And here, I love this formal avenue, gorgeous fountains, and in the middle islands, roses all the way along it. Really does bring such a beautiful pop of colour. Can't beat it, can you? Sound of fountains, blue sky, gentle breeze. I'm guessing slightly sunburnt out here, but it really is a beautiful day to be somewhere like this, or indeed anywhere. I love this avenue. I love the detail on the patio, or should I say, the path. All these stars that run down it. Quite like the idea of using these small cobbles. Maybe an idea again for my fire pit area. Although I'd have to buy a load of these cobbles, which I'm sure would be quite expensive. So let's head outside the entrance first, past this Keam Rocks here, the gorgeous citrus grove in the middle of the road, and then I'll show you what we've got in store. A beautiful view, isn't it? Directly across the road then, we've got these stunning queen palms. You see one up there fruiting away. There's probably an even better example just further up. It's just so Mediterranean seeing them there, doesn't it? Admittedly, terracotta walls help as well, but really stunning. A beautiful sight. As we head through here, under the pines, again, rosemary, thyme, a lot of what we call herbs growing here as ornamentals, bushy and perfectly adapted to these harsh environments. Callistemon again. As we head out into this car park, let's see what we can see. I think the first palm of note, well, let's just head up here. Just looking up here, we've got some magnificent phoenix. I don't know if he's a Theophrasti or the other one, Dactylifera, the true date palm. I'm sure someone more knowledgeable in Mediterranean palms can hopefully give some advice. But they really are beautiful. You can see this one here flowering against the blue sky. How amazing. And here, just outside the shop, a magnificent pair of Washingtonia folifera. Just look at the size of these. Much thicker trunks than Robusta. Wow. And potentially more interesting to cold hardy palm fans, we've got a row here of stunning Brahira amata. Yes, a few has tried to grow these. Unfortunately, mine hasn't survived in my garden. But I know Yorkshire Chris has got a great example up in Yorkshire. However, when they get to this size, they truly are monumental. I'll show you a bit closer. You see this one here? Absolutely laden with seed. And before you ask, though, I won't be taking any home with me. Well, just look at it. These flowers must look simply magnificent when they're in full flow. What a beauty. Here at the end is probably my favourite of the bunch. Just look at this. Huge amount of seeds. Absolutely stunning leaves. Silvery blue colour. Phenomenal. Second only, I think, in my eyes when it comes to blue palms, to the magnificent Bismarckia nobilis, which we might just see very soon. Yes, one of my dream palms is growing in another garden that we'll hopefully see later on this video. But this, just look how chunky it is. Even the slightly more slender fan palms are still monstrous beasts when you see them up close. That trunk's got to be pushing a metre across. Just beautiful, isn't it? It's got to be some ageist palm. Even here in the Mediterranean heat, something like this really takes some time. They're slow-growing beauties. What a stunner. And here, it's just alongside a car park, like we grow Amalankia or Photinia. Just amazing. Over here, we've got some Keam Rocks again, under the shade of this gorgeous, what looks like a fig tree there, and walk to a whole different location altogether. That wind picks up. Like I mentioned, Portugal, it's definitely a very windy climate here. So a lot of these palms really have to adapt and thrive in it. Keam Rocks is obviously absolutely perfect. A lot of the others, Cygarus, Washingtonia, they grow so fast in this sun and heat that any damage is very quickly outgrown. But the place we're going just over here is apparently Europe's best or largest golf resort. I'll show you the sign very, very soon. Planting in some of the gardens along here is absolutely mind-blowing. Again, more huge queen palms here. Please feel free to correct me if I get any of the names wrong in this video. Like I said, my primary interest and passion and knowledge is centred around cold hardy palms, ones which we can at least have a go with growing in the UK. But here, it's a whole different level. some real stunners. And I just love the way they're paired with grasses. One of my favourite grasses, you will see soon, Stipa tenuissima, very common grass, but here they use it en masse. I don't know exactly which sort this is, but I really love the way the planting is in huge blocks here. It gives so much more impact. We've got grasses next to towering palms, cycads, another phoenix here. Don't know if you pronounce them Rubellini or Rubellinii. Beautiful. Stunning bit of planting. But if you think this is exciting, the flowers, the palms, the cycads, the grasses, strelitzias, then just wait and see what we've got in store. That olive tree round about there is very much just a taster. There's some really exciting things to come. Beautiful flowering hibiscus there. Just look at that. A rare pop of colour amongst this green and predominantly brown landscape behind it. But as we head into the golf resort, well, let's just say things have been landscaped to the max. You can tell this whole area is currently in development, shall we say. There's plenty of new projects just starting. All the way threaded around, we've got this irrigation supporting a huge variety of exciting planting. There's cycad, there's hundreds of cycads, thousands even. These here getting ready to flush. At home, seeing one of those in a tropical greenhouse would really be an event in itself. But here, every plant is doing its thing. I mean, just look around. It really is beautiful. Gorgeous olive trees over there. And let's head further in. We've got grasses en masse and keen robs. Just 1 or 2 keen robs. Okay, maybe 3 or 4. Okay, probably about 200 of them. Just look at them. Right on the side of the road here. You probably hear the cars rumbling past me. This is the entrance to, as you see up there, Europe's best golf venue. The best in Europe. Well, can't say I'm a golfist, but that sounds exciting indeed. QuintaDelago.com. Get yourself there. Today's video is not sponsored by them, but I do appreciate everything they've done to really improve the landscape in this area and just introduce some phenomenal planting. There's lots of native plants here, but there's also a lot of exciting exotics, particularly in some of the amazing private gardens that we'll see very, very soon. Even herbs need irrigation here. Everything needs irrigation. And I love the way, I appreciate this is obviously just commercial block planting. I just love the impact, and this is really going to look sensational as the plants get bigger. You can see looking down here, the ground in areas, it's very sandy. And when I say very sandy, I mean it's pretty much sand. Even in the UK during a hot summer, a lot of these plants would need watering. But it's very clear from the aesthetic they've chosen, these are all plants which definitely thrive in dry, arid Mediterranean conditions and also really love the part. Sensational, isn't it? But like I said, this is nothing compared to the big palms and real tropical planting around the corner. So let's get on with it. We first passed through this area then on a bus trip yesterday morning. There's a bus direct from the hotel to the beach, and I saw some amazing planting, huge palms and phenomenal gardens. So when it was Harriet's nap time yesterday, I had a little walk out. I told you I'm not one for laying on sunbeds. So today, I've come along, I brought you guys along with me. What my mission was yesterday was basically just to find some beautiful planting, some out there planting. And well, let me just say, I thought I was going to keep walking until I saw the best garden. But then I kept looking around the next corner and there was an even better one. So today you're going to see some absolutely stunning front gardens, some just jaw-dropping planting, and some real crazy tropical style vibes. Get yourselves ready for what lays down this road. Just look at some of these plants we literally only dream about growing in the UK, and maybe some that we have a go at. But don't they look sensational here? Absolutely beautiful. Agave Americana, variegata there, loads of aloes, beautiful palms. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? Such a beautiful picture. And there's more things to come. Yes, just next door, look at this. Bismarckia. That beauty in the middle there. Just look at that. Probably one of my favourite palms, and one we don't have a chance of growing in the UK. Just look at it. Those leaves must be a couple of metres wide. The most amazing steely blue colour. And here, with the massive strelitzias there, flying in the distance, huge washes, and these pines here, which have clearly been crown lifted. It just looks jaw-dropping. Truly sensational properties down here. And whoever does the landscaping for them, they certainly deserve a lot of credit because this is truly beautiful. Look at this. How ridiculous is this? I'd like to think this is someone who enjoys growing exotic plants because this is just simply outrageous, isn't it? Talk about planting en masse and really going for it. What is this? Just look at the state of it. It's amazing. All those strelitzias in there, towering up, definitely 6 meters plus tall. What a sight to see. There's exotic and there's exotic, isn't there? That is simply phenomenal. There's some flowering in there. And before we head up that way, which is going to be the main destination of this journey, I'm just going to show you around this corner here, because there's a few gardens which really caught my eye. It's just amazing. There's got to be places in Cornwall that I could really go for more planting like this. And looking across the road there, you can see there's block planting, agaves, flowers, grasses. Everything's in huge blocks. Just absurd, isn't it? In the middle there, don't know if you can see from this distance, just cross the road very carefully, looking right and left here because I'm still not used to the way the roads go. Just look at these, all these agaves growing under the shade of trees. They wouldn't have a hope of surviving in the UK, but here, they just leave them to get on with it. Tough, beautiful, and amazing. But look at this. This is what I wanted to show you over this side. Phormiums, strelitzias, cycads. This is everything that we go for in the UK with a tropical style. The exotic gardening. Strelitzias, I guess we can go bananas that look similar, but let's face it, they're not quite the same, are they? Just not quite the same. The red Genet there, those beautiful orange flowers, they just look simply stunning against this blue sky. What a treat. And things get even crazier still up here. One or two agaves there. Americana variegata. Again, just seen one of those at a coastal location in the UK. It's worthy of a picture on Facebook. But here, they use them with hedging in some areas. We've got aloes for days. Yuccas here, Elephantime's jewel. That again is half hardy in the UK, certainly in the north. But here again, it's just a plant mixed in. And what I absolutely love is how this style of planting, to me, it almost looks like it's underwater. Like coral, with all these alien sea life forms. The yuccas rising up like seaweed. And then a plant which we definitely can't grow in the UK. Agave attenuata. Just look at those. Aren't they beautiful? They look almost soft and velvety. They're simply stunning. And as you can see, the beauty continues. Up in the distance, a real palm-filled garden. But we're not going to head up this way. We've got something far more exciting in mind. Passing through the blocks of planting, there's no bedding planted here. Although on that note, my wife actually noticed at the hotel this morning, when we arrived, all of the little raised planters around the pool had red pelargonians in them. And this morning, they got changed to white ones. So there's definitely effort, real effort and money behind the scenes in the landscaping here. But I just love the block planting. It just looks amazing. I think most of it is quite ordinary looking plants. There's a lot of plants in the UK that we could use to replicate some of these. And then having that one strip of agaves or something really out there, it definitely tells you you're somewhere different, somewhere special. I absolutely love that. Welcome to Avenue Ayrton Senna. Yes, Michael Schumacher was known for his tenacity and extreme performance over the years. Lewis Hamilton, his consistency and brilliance. Verstappen, his incredible talent behind the wheel. Knowledge of the rules and how to exploit them to the letter. But Ayrton Senna, probably the most famous racing driver to have ever lived. And this avenue was named after him. Just look at some of these properties. Just beautiful, aren't they? But I'm not here to look at the buildings. I'm here to look at the plans. I'm getting that on record in case any security stop me. Beautiful palms here, aren't there? It really is simply stunning. There's no other word for it. I apologise in advance if I'm using the same hyperbolic phrases again and again this video, but I think this place deserves them. And I'm doing this video on another nap time after a night of not so good sleep, so you'll have to forgive me there. Here is Steeper or Nazella tenuissima. This is a grass that I've grown a lot in my 5-pit area, and this is the exact look that I was going for. Just look how soft and flowing they are. The perfect complement and contrast to the hard and bolder exotics. I absolutely love them. You see another block of them over the other side of that property there. I just think they look just simply beautiful. Yes, even a simple grass, a humble grass, really deserves its place here. Amongst all the exotics that can be grown, you've got to offset them with some similarly beautiful plants, and that grass certainly is one of them. But as I cross over the road here, this is the callistemon that I was telling you about earlier. Just look how bright this is. Look how bold that is. It's probably hard to capture with my camera, but just look at that scarlet. That is the most vivid crimson I think I've ever seen in a flower. I told you there'd be some exaggeration, didn't I? Simply beautiful. And here, they're just growing on this patch of scrubland. Is it maybe an abandoned garden? There's yuccas over there, more pines, oleander. There's literally olive trees here just popping up everywhere. Literally grown from olives and producing olives already. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? I know my over-the-top enthusiasm might probably give some of you more experienced gardeners and holiday makers a little bit of fun statement, but to me, this is really incredible. And I'm so glad that, although this isn't my kind of holiday on paper, I made the effort to come. When I say made the effort, well, I'm enjoying myself, definitely. Just look at this garden over here. Towering washes, and in fact, there's some yuccas over there. Let's just pop over and I'll show you them a bit closer. To my eyes, at least, these look like rostrata. So finally, some plants that we can grow in the UK, dotted in with some majestic beauties that we certainly can. Just look at this. I mean, when you talk about narrow borders, I know I planted up my little border near the house, which is only about 1 metre wide. This whole strip here is definitely less than 3 metres wide. And look what they've got in it. Now, if you like Bismarck here, just look at that. The trunk is less than a couple of feet high. The leaf is pushing 2 metres across. And it's the most amazing white silvery colour. That is just beautiful. Simply amazing. And the sheer height that you can achieve in such a narrow border is breathtaking, isn't it? I guess on the face of it, we could definitely achieve this kind of look, in theory, using Trachycarpus as the uprights. Yes, they grow a bit slower, but you can still get similar kind of height. I guess here, a group of trachys could emulate the look of these washes. But I know we can grow the yuccas. I know we can grow the Keen Rocks at home. There's nothing really that prepares you for the look of a Washingtonia foliifera like that. I believe that's what it is. Just look at the scale of that trunk. It's like an elephant's leg if it was 3 times the size. It's truly massive. What a garden. But there's some even more spectacular ones to come. So many beautiful plants down here. I came along yesterday and I very nearly lost track of the time. Perched in this garden up here, amongst the agaves, other beautiful palms, keemrobs, citrus plants. Just look at this Brahea armata, Mexican blue Hesper palm. They don't get much better than that. Slow growing, but simply majestic. What a plant. I definitely should have brought a thesaurus on this journey so I could introduce some new words for saying amazing and beautiful. Because when you've got plants like this, you certainly need them. Well, there we've got another one of those Schefflera actinophylla that I'm calling it. And just look at over this side here. This house, clearly a work in progress. Is that something like Photinia red robin? I can definitely smell the fragrance. But again, they've not just gone for 1 or 2 plants. They've seriously gone for it. Huge hedge of them. Wow. The scent from them really is special. And just look at this grass. Everything is just immaculate. You can really tell how much effort and money goes into the landscape in here. I mean, the houses themselves, they are beautiful. There's a variety of styles and architecture. Some traditionally inspired, some very modern, some definitely quirky. But there's definitely a real feeling of, affluence and certainly beauty in this area. Just look at this garden. Simple, mainly greens, cypress, some gorgeous palms, understated, certainly in this neighbourhood, but still beautiful. However, under the shade of these gorgeous pines here, you definitely appreciate the shade, but the other thing you appreciate is the scent. And I think it's coming from this here. Is that another choice here? Something like that? You'll have to tell me if you know in the comments below. The scent coming from this one bush is more exquisite than Earth Photinia up there. It's beautiful. Very citrusy. I can't pretend to describe a perfume, but it really is beautiful. A Norfolk Island pine there. Pride of place in the middle. That's really going for it, isn't it? That's stunning planting. This side here, a fruiting loquat. Absolutely laden with those fruits. It's beautiful. So there we go, Mark. Eat your heart out. Look at that. As we go past these aloes, just simply used as a hedge down here. Looking across that side there. There's an aloe the size of a bush. There's yuccas literally the size of trees. There's a callisto over there that is definitely also the size of a tree. Everything here goes to monumental proportions. It really is such a favourable climate, particularly in the sheltered areas like here, for growing some just simply outrageous plants. Towering palms in there. Again, accompanied by the pines, which are everywhere. Stunning houses accompanied by the most out there planting. Agave attenuatas. Lots of oleanders here, hacked back as though they were simple willow. Wow, what a place. How the other half live, eh? It seems like every vehicle going past, or at least every other one, is a landscaper of some kind. Looking back, I like the simplicity of that border there. I just love how pairing the conifers with a hedge, phormiums, so simple, so Mediterranean. Literally every garden here has its own kind of style, its own personality, its own theme. As we head round this corner here, let me tell you, things take it up another level indeed. Hello, hello, hello. Yep, there's plenty to go around. Big, chunky phoenix boy up here. Look at that. As we pass another construction site here. Buildings going up everywhere, and they're not just playing at it. Seemed as I was walking around yesterday, it was basically a mix of landscapers' vehicles or Ferraris. That's basically what you need to be driving around this neighbourhood here. But somehow, I've not been thrown out by security yet, and I'm pleased that happened, because I get to share with you things like this. Just look at that beautiful house. Bougainvillea growing on the house there. That just amazing magenta pop of colour. A boutia in the front garden. Haven't seen quite as many boutia, although I should say I'm restricted to quite a small area around the hotel, basically as far as I can walk in and outside, so that might have some effect on it. But I'm so pleased that we're close to here. Some of this planting is outrageous. Gotta say, when this holiday first got booked, I looked on Google Earth, tried to find some gardens in the local area, maybe a botanic garden, and I was a little bit, not disappointed, but I couldn't really see a lot. However, if I'd known that all this was around the corner, there's definitely something to look at and enjoy, particularly if you're a plant nerd like me, or like you, I suppose, if you're watching this far. We should really get a life, shouldn't we? But look at some of this planting. How could it not put a smile on your face? Well, let me show you this next one up a little bit closer. As we head towards the garden, which is very much the mecca, the end goal of this trip, along the way, this is one that actually stood out to me. And I think the reason why it stood out, well, there's two main reasons. Firstly, there's not a lot of bare soil. They're filled in the gaps. A lot of the plants around here can be sparse, but here, displayed on this beautiful hillside garden, it just looks stunning. There's not a lot of bare earth. And the second reason is, very simply, it's green. Yes, Andrew and Anne-Marie from my 50 Shades of Green garden, you might like this one here. Everything is all about the green. We've got phoenixes, we've got chimerops, we've got the pines in the middle, a big cedar, very much calling your name, guys. Just look at that. Again, this is a garden which we could very much emulate in the UK. You could plant a similar style to this. You could go for the chimerops, you could have some bushes and things. You could generally get the overall look. And I guess it shows that, really, having an exotic garden, it is all about the overall look that you want to create. even in a place like this where there's so much possibility, every garden looks different. And I guess lots of them here are probably not done by individuals, but more landscaping companies. But you can definitely tell that for some of these gardens, it's not just a professional effort. There's really some personal enthusiasm that goes into it. And more washes there. You can see them at every size around here. Here in the UK, or back home, should I say, in the UK, something like that would really be a beauty. Here, it's just a little tiddler, isn't it? Just a tiddler. More shade planted here. You can see, actually, this is a really good example. The Keemrop's grown in the shade, are slightly more relaxed, longer petioles, or the stem, should I say. The whole plant takes on a larger, more graceful appearance. Graceful isn't a word I'd use to describe this chunk here. Look at that. Phoenix canariensis. There's not too many around that are as big as that. It might be a metre at the base, but further up, that thing, just look at the size of it. Unreal. And again, more beautiful towering pines. Genuinely could be anywhere in the world. And this kind of planting absolutely excites me. Here, look, is a baby phoenix that's just popped up, no doubt self-seeded. But a really good example of how big they get. Because although this one has hardly even formed a trunk yet, look at the size of it. Each of those leaves or fronds is definitely 3.5 metres long, somewhere like that. So the whole plant has got a wingspan of about 7 metres. So there we go. Another word of warning for those of you who have got a very small garden with one of these in. Well, you planted it right next to a path for your house. Before these beauties start growing upwards, they grow out and they don't mess around. But as we head through here, this section of the road is more open. It's more sunny. The skyline, again, dominated by magnificent gnarled old pines. Up there, we've got another beautiful Norfolk Island pine. Such a noticeable, recognisable silhouette on the skyline. Another plane coming in, bringing more eager tourists like me. A castle over there getting done up. I guess a lot of the gardens are really inherited, aren't they? As the houses get sold on, just like they would be in the UK, really. But there's some stunning older specimens here, and there's plenty of newer planting too. So there we go, another sign bookmarking this end of the road. Avenida Ayrton Senna de Silva, and a beautiful little F1 car there. What a place. I've not even talked about some of the olives and the Darcy Illyrians I've seen on the way, because there's simply too many plants. And even just on the short drive from the airport to the hotel, some of the things you saw growing were just out of this world. Plants that we look after, tend for years to get any kind of results. Here, they are literally growing like weeds. It's just another world. Yes, past all these beautiful callistemon again. Gorgeous crimsons up there. Lovely planting. Round this corner is something that will truly blow your mind. So, first off, I'm going to wet your whistle, just give you a little taster, a teaser of what's to come, and show you a garden which is very much tropical inspired on the right-hand side. I think you'll love that one, but then, for the real palm nuts, there's something coming which will blow your mind. Definitely originally planted or owned by a palm fan. Of that, I'm very much sure. But just look over here. I'll try and get a little bit closer to this one to show you some of these plants. It's like each one of these gardens is literally this kind of display that an indoor botanical greenhouse in the UK would be proud of owning. We've got a fruit and cycad over here. Just going to move in and show you this. 2.5 meters across, packed full of fruit there. What a size. Just majestic. Towering strelitzes again. That one's flowering up there at about 7 meters, 8 meters high. Just look at the size of them. They're unreal, aren't they? Simply unreal. And hidden behind this one here, this Bismarckia. This is what it's all about. If my previous examples didn't wow you, then this one certainly should. Just look at this. It's really hard to convey the scale of this beast in video. Wow. It's not so much the size of it. It's around 6 meters tall, I'd say somewhere on there. But just the scale of it, how oversized it is. I love growing tropical style plants because some of them are simply ridiculous. They're larger than life. And here, amongst all these other exotics, this ghostly form rises up Each of those petioles, the leaf stalks there, is probably as big as my arm. It's quite bigger, actually. And the leaves are just colossal. What a stunner. Probably my favourite palm of the trip. If only we were those in the UK, my garden would certainly look ridiculous. What a beauty. And at the end here, just to show off really, these sprawling roots, the aerial roots, belong to a philodendron, or philodendron, depending how you want to pronounce it. Yes, the kind of plants that grow in Florida, South California, those kind of places, can thrive here. Definitely with some irrigation. But just look at this picture here. Got a simple photinia in the middle, this tropical beauty at the front there, absolutely thriving. Not a scorch in those leaves, the new ones just look exquisite. And then that backdrop, the queen palms over there. I'm just going to go back to it again. That Bismarckia, I don't care how much of a casual palm lover you are, but just look at that. You can't get that in the UK, can you? You simply can't. What a monster. Beautiful. Anyway, I better move on before I get forcibly removed from the premises and share with you what's coming up next. But before that, just a quick detour over here to show you something cool growing in the scrubland. Just look at this, a prickly pear here, growing out in the wilds, I feel like. It's amazing, isn't it? The climate here is really so kind. Obviously harsh in many other ways, but just in terms of what you can grow, it just seems like the opportunities are endless. Obviously you can see here, this is pretty much pure sand. So that explains why the drainage is so good. But the environment here, I don't know if you can see, but in the distance, just gone behind that tree now, the storks circling, pines gently blowing in the breeze, jays flying from tree to tree, washes in the background. This is what a Mediterranean look is all about. And I think as I continue to plant my Mediterranean garden, it's really about leaning into this sparseness, bit of a roughness, having some slightly brown looking plants in there, because then the real exotics absolutely pop. But anyway, enough about subtlety and naturalism. Let's go and see that garden up there. Let me show you this. Wow. Okay, I'm going to wait for that car to come past. Just give me time to think of a word. There's palm nuts and then there's palm nuts, isn't there? Just look at this. This is completely insane. Washi after washi after washi. I mean, the sound here, now the breeze is getting up, you can hear those plants moving in the breeze, kind of like the clattering of Trachycarpus, but on another level. And behind it, we've got another row of Strelitzias. This is what it's all about, isn't it? This place was definitely planted up by a real plant lover. I mean, come on. There's bound to be one or two of you watching this that if we could get away with this in the UK, you would definitely have a garden which would rock like this. I mean, it's just insanity, isn't it? So many incredible plants. Now, I'll be honest, it's very nearly time for me to head back to the hotel. But the just beauty, the glamour, the outrageous expense continues. And looking over there, we've got grand design style houses mixed with these venerable old pines, and then all kinds of exotic tropical style plants in. Simply beautiful. And again, the busy groundskeepers, they've definitely got their work cut out for them, haven't they? But what a privilege and pleasure it is to see the results of their labours. Some of these gardens are absolutely next level. What a treat this has been. This place, as I just turn around and start heading back, it really does feel like the potential is limitless. I know when I went down to Cornwall for my 30th birthday, a holiday which was very much put together as something I wanted to do, basically an exotic garden visit every single day. For me, the most exciting thing, it wasn't going to the Eden Project. It wasn't seeing some of the towering palms and beauties in there. Because when you go to somewhere like that, a heated greenhouse, you expect to see those kind of plants. For me, it was going to see Tim Smith's Other Baby, the Lost Gardens of Heligan, and especially Treba Gardens. Seeing the bamboo, the gunnera, the towering palms there, that was what blew my mind. Seeing those kind of plants growing outside, people pushing the boundaries of what you can really grow in that location, that is amazing. And that's the same kind of spirit that I feel must be within some of these gardeners here. It's knowing that you're in a Mediterranean climate, knowing that frost is very, very rare down here, the temperatures are warm, the summer heat is definitely baking, and it's thinking, I don't just want to grow Mediterranean. It's thinking, I want to grow real subtropical, tropical plants even, and getting away with it. Yes, we've come back to this one here on way back. What a stunning example. Some truly exquisite plants. And definitely, for me, this one and that washy facade up there are the highlights of this golf resort for me. Now, I'm not a golfer, but if playing golf and doing it well gets you something like this, then get me that club and let me at it. I should say, I obviously know that these houses aren't necessarily owned and bought by professional golfers. That's merely the way that these people choose to spend a lot of their time. But seriously, what a privilege just to experience a place like this for the best part of a week. Each road, every direction is full of the most stunning houses, beautiful gardens, outrageous planting, and sheer beauty. I've got to say, on balance, I would love walking around neighbourhoods in the Lake District, Cornwall, anywhere in the UK that has beautiful planting just as much. Those places probably don't have 23, 25 degrees in April, admittedly, but seriously, what a place. I'm not saying for a single second that this is what Portugal's planting's like. This is one very affluent, very privileged neighbourhood, but just look at it. Look at some of these plants, agaves at lows, simply stunning. Just beautiful plants as far as the eye can see, and I've only scratched the surface of this place. So hopefully we get another nap time again tomorrow and we can go out once again. What a place. So beautiful.